Here on the Kelmscott driving test route, at this set of traffic lights, everything happens. If you're not familiar with the lights without the green arrow, if you've got a green light, no green arrow, where you have to give way to the traffic from the opposite direction, clearly we have several cars in front. It's likely that we're going to get through. The first one's going over the line, waiting. There's another car coming from the opposite direction. Second car's doing well, the driver's doing well because he hadn't gone over the line. The third car had gone over the line behind that one, so that's not good. Now I'm going to wait because I was too slow before the last car in front of me cleared the intersection, and for that reason I did not want to proceed on an amber light, because you shouldn't go over the line if it turns amber and if you are very slow on approach to the white solid line. Now I'm going to wait for another wave of green lights. Traffic lights are the places where the majority of fatal accidents happen. So I urge everyone, experienced or not experienced driver, to give it a good deep scan on, when they commit to moving forward. So what's going to happen next? As I creep forward, it looks like the four-wheel drive, the silver four-wheel drive, is turning right. Okay, so I'm going to creep forward slightly, but I'm going to wait for the white car to clear. Now they've cleared enough space for me to proceed. Now, the same situation here. I might encounter the second. Well, I'm not going to hold up the traffic, but this is a place where you can get another situation that's identical as far as, the arrow and the green lights go, but obviously it's never identical. What happens, because you might have more cars, less cars, So now we're merging here. Blind spot is absolutely necessary. So this pocket here is crucial when you come for your driving assessment in Kelmscott. So this particular intersection has four-way traffic lights where you may encounter traffic lights without the green arrow. Here is one of them. I'm not getting too close to the bus. If there's a bus or a truck, always be at least about 1.5 lengths of your vehicle. I'm going to wait for the bus to clear. And then if it's still green, I proceed. Those two cars are going right, so I proceed nicely. Again, you have a merge up here on the 3rd Ave. So indicating mirror, looking over my shoulder just before the line runs out, and merge. So I'm going to get you to the same place from a different direction in a minute. This is the area where 90% of candidates who fail at the Kelmscott Test Centre fail for not understanding their obligations when it comes to giving way at a green light without the green arrow. Another situation, same spot, okay? Now I'm going to creep in the middle, creeping forward, but I can't cut to the opposite direction lanes. Now it's gone yellow, so no one's proceeding. It's okay to clear through the red light if you are in the middle, because there's no other way to do it. You have to understand the regulations here, and it's simple. I want everyone to think it's a give way. It's nothing but give way. So you just wait for the traffic from the opposite direction and you clear. Now, I'm going to get to the same spot again from this direction. Now the lights changed and I'm going to stop there, but I'm going to wait until the arrow drops. It's dropped. Now in this situation, I can cut into the turning lanes direction. Now it's changing. Everyone is stopping. I proceed. It doesn't matter that it goes red because you're in the middle of the intersection and their side changes at exactly the same time. There are no exceptions to this rule. If your light changes to amber and then red, that's exactly what happens on the opposite direction. Because if it wasn't, it would be crazy. I mean, how would you ever clear the intersection? Maybe that's why a lot of overseas license holders get confused. Apparently, I'm not sure which country, but somebody told me that a lot of places in their country have traffic lights where one side changes to red but the other side remains green. But anyways, it's important that you come to this particular intersection. If you are taking your driving assessment at Kelmscott, it's just an enormous amount of candidates who just cannot handle this type of intersection because they don't understand their obligations. A lot of them would commit, creeping forward when there's a vehicle inside the intersection. So if you are second car, don't cross the line until they've cleared. Don't commit unless your car can fit. I always mention this rhyme, don't commit unless your car can fit. So even if someone's turning from the opposite direction, what would you do if they stop halfway and you committed to turning and at the same time, someone's speeding towards you from the opposite direction and somebody blocks you from behind? So that would block your option from reversing out of the, harm's way. But by the way, you shouldn't reverse in the middle of the intersection unless there's an emergency. So no reversing inside the intersection. If you overshot the line, even in the test, if you overshot the line and somehow ended up there a little bit, not entirely inside the intersection, just sit there, don't reverse, because you have to consider cars that are behind you. Now, the Prado, the one in front of me, I'm going to wait until it clears. Now he's cleared, but there's a black car from the opposite direction. I'm going to wait for that one. Okay, now I can turn, and here again I might have the same situation, but it doesn't look like it's going to change. A lot of times now it did, so I didn't want to hold the person behind me, so I proceeded, but otherwise I would have showed you another situation at that particular intersection. Merging, mirror, as the line runs out, blind spot, usually about a couple of lengths of your car before the line runs out, you look at your blind spot. I'm going to make another UE so I can, show you once more, and you will see that every time something is different. There's no time of a day where you will encounter identical situation and you can sort of reference exact things what happened, previously. It just simply doesn't happen. So we'll turn right again once more. So this one, again, does not have a green arrow at all. So understanding that this is simply a give way, it's going to change everything. So it's going to change your perception. So it's give way. You might be lucky that there's no cars, from the opposite direction. You might not be so lucky, and might have literally 60, 70 cars coming from there. But also, you would know, even in any situation, you would know. See, this white vehicle committed forward before the red one cleared. I'm going to wait for the silver one, but I'm not cutting into the opposite direction lanes. Now I can turn. It's gone yellow, but it doesn't concern us. Merge again, so a lot of merges you could have noticed. Mirror, blind spot properly, and secondary check. It's very important to follow the progress of, anything that might be happening. So, it's very important that you come here, that somebody guides you who understands exactly, what sort of skill, what sort of level of skill you have to develop in order to pass your driving assessment. High density of traffic and it's high speed. If you get in the way of oncoming vehicle and if somebody blocks you from behind, you are in trouble. So I admire the courage of the assessors in Western Australia because I know how they operate in Western Australia. They don't even know if the button brake or the physical handbrake will work properly. They are very courageous. They must have some sort of counselling, after work, because this is very stressful. If somebody gets in the middle and, if they pull the, handbrake and it doesn't work and the car still moves and the candidate doesn't understand them, what they want them to do. If they say, stop, brake, it would be crazy. If they fail you, they might be saving your life and somebody else's as well. So, don't think of it as, rude, action if they failed you. So what I did accidentally, now I indicated late. I have to apologise to the driver behind me because I was stalking, and then, obviously he's stuck now behind me. I've got to wait for the traffic from the opposite direction. I'm not sure if the white big one's turning. I'm going to take it quickly because he's slow. He's turning anyway. Now I saw his indicator. As it goes green, obviously I'm going to wait. And when it goes green, not that I'm only going to give it a deep scan left and right, but I'm also going to commit forward very slowly, patiently, without pushing the accelerator. A lot of people make a mistake. It goes green, but they push accelerator. you shouldn't do that. You should creep forward as slowly as possible. And even if it goes slightly faster, you might, choose to say to the assessor, oh, don't worry, I've just mismanaged a bit, I'm going to stop. So, you have to reassure them, because they haven't seen you drive before. Maybe your instructor has taken you for 30 lessons, but the assessors, they've never seen you drive. Okay, so now I'm going to creep forward very slowly. I can cut into the lane, the opposite lane that's turning, because that's a turning lane. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to see anything. Now, I believe I can go quickly because there was no cars and it was the right decision. So, it's simple, but it does require repetition and full understanding of what your obligations are. If you don't understand why we do certain things, it's going to be very difficult to execute it. And that's where the nervousness comes from. I always say to people, look, don't worry about confidence, because confidence comes from one single place, and that is competence. So if you're not competent, you cannot be confident. That car's going straight, and I was waiting for that vehicle to turn in this car park. So this is exactly the same situation as if you're turning right at a green light without the green arrow. Don't hesitate asking any questions in the comment section below. I'll be happy to help as much as I possibly can. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.